Hello friends, welcome to my channel. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Fortunate Higgins. I am the author of Fortunate's Unfortunate Fortunes. As promised in my previous video, today I am going to be unveiling the chapters in my book. I will also read the introductory chapter. So my book is divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is Who the Bleep Did I Marry? Part 2 is From a Frying Pan into the Fire. Part 3 is The Rainbow. Under each of those parts, there are chapters. So under the first part, Who the Bleep Did I Marry? Are the following chapters. My childhood, the pressure of cultural expectations, many are called but few are chosen, unexpected visitor, the phone call, court and traditional marriage, baby on board, living with a stranger, trouble with the law, helpless in a foreign land, the escape, bad luck or karma, the intervention, satellite electronic brain harassment, the wedding budget. And then under part 2, which is From a Frying Pan into the Fire, are the following chapters. Life as a single mother, the insurance guy, baby on board again, facing deportation, the invisible house, the revelation, bad news, final revelation, the confession and apology. And then under part 3, which is the rainbow, are the following chapters. The power of faith, the reporter from Poughkeepsie Journal, and then double blessing. And the book ends with about the author and references. So next, I am going to be reading the introductory chapter in my book. It's kind of different, but that's how I chose to write my book. So stay tuned. This is the introductory chapter in my book. It reads, I am not perfect, neither am I a saint. Although my story is totally different, sometimes I wonder whether my whole life was shaped by that of my childhood hero, Josephine Bakita. My father named me Fortunate. As a little girl, my parents gave me a beautiful children's autobiography book about Josephine Bakita that I treasured very much. Her name Bakita also means fortunate. While growing up, I wanted to be like her, even though her life involved a series of unfortunate events. She was from a small village in Sudan. When she was about 8 years old, while she was playing with her friend in the bushes near her village, some Arab slave traders kidnapped her and sold her into slavery. In shock, she could not remember her name or the village she came from. Her owner named her Bakita. She was sold a second time to a Turkish general after she got in trouble for accidentally breaking her owner's vase. Bakita and other new slaves were forced to be tattooed, a painful procedure that, according to S. Wallace, involved tracing detailed patterns on the body and arms of each slave, then going over the patterns with sharp razor. When the cutting was done, salt was rubbed into the bleeding wounds, salt was rubbed into the bleeding wound every day, so scars would form as they slowly healed. Bakita's body was covered with scars that she would bear for the rest of her life. Her luck came when she was sold a third time at the age of 14, this time to an Italian consul. Her new master treated her very well, and she lived happily. 2 years later, her master took her along to Italy. She would experience yet further challenges due to the color of her skin. On arrival in Italy, her master gave her to his friend whose wife had passed away during childbirth. She became the nanny of his little girl, Mimina, who grew attached to her. After spending some time in a convent at a boarding school where she had temporarily been placed with the little girl while her master was away, she was introduced to Christianity. She decided to get baptized and pursue a religious path. She got in trouble. Her master took her to court for refusing to return to him to perform her duties as a nanny. Since slavery was illegal in Italy, the courts gave her freedom. She became a nun and spent the rest of her life in Italy, where she died and was buried. Pope John Paul II canonized her as a saint in 2000. Details about Josephine Bakita's true story can be found in the children's book Saint Bakita of Sudan, or the movie From Slavery to Saint. On the other hand, I also wonder whether my last name influenced my misfortunes. My great uncle Carl Ozo Joseph named me Drateru. The name Drateru means waiting for death. I was born while my great uncle was a political prisoner on death row in Luzira maximum prison in Uganda. He had served the country during Uganda's infamous dictator Idi Amin's regime. After Amin's government was overthrown, those who served in his cabinet and didn't go into exile were imprisoned. My great uncle was one of them, but he was released years later. He died several years later of natural causes. Some people say names can influence one's life. I grew to hate my last name as I began experiencing unfortunate situations in my life. Although the meaning of my name, Drateru, was not meant for me, I couldn't help but wonder what a combination it was to be fortunate and await death.